Hi everybody, Gary Payrow here, and I want to talk about the 6 advantages of investing in real estate. And you might think that this is an interesting, compelling, curious topic. What I'm trying to do is compare it to what most people think about investing. And my buddy Matt Terrio just did an awesome podcast on the 25th, and he called it the traps, wealth traps. And let's see if I have wealth traps for your financial well-being. So that's a great one. Matt Terrio, Epic Real Estate Investing. You can go on iTunes, Stitcher, and listen to that. It's an awesome, awesome webcast. So I recommend that. And I also am going to welcome you all here. And if you could, as you log in, if you could tell me where you're logging in from, so I can just say hi and appreciate that. But as I said, I'm going to talk about the advantages of investing in real estate. Now, I just happen to, I know what they are, but sometimes when you're talking in front of a video, it's hard to remember everything that you've thought of. So appreciation, cash flow, those are things. So I just Googled it, and it's pretty cool. You know how Google, they collect data from the website, so you'll find something right on Google where it's a short little answer. And they came up with 6 advantages to investing. And this is are ways that you can get a financial benefit for your investment dollars that are specific to real estate. So the first one of them is cash flow. And so I just Googled the advantages of investing in real estate. That's all I did, and I came up with 6 of them. So Joe Franklin is just joining. Joe is my cousin from the Midwest. So Joe, welcome. How you doing? Let me know where you guys are posted right now. I don't remember exactly where you guys are staked out. So let me know where you're watching this from. And Jimmy Reyes, my pastor's on, so love that guy. So Jimmy, welcome. Let me know how you're doing in the comments there, and I'll give you a shout out. Jimmy's the pastor at the Valley Vineyard Christian Fellowship on Reseda Boulevard in Reseda. So cash flow is really the #1 benefit of real estate. And cash flow is something that's very tough to get on Wall Street. Sure, you can get some stocks that give off a dividend here and there, but nothing like the cash flow that you can get in investing in real estate. Now, cash flow means to most people rentals, and rentals to a lot of people mean angry tenants, grumpy tenants, cheap tenants, toilets, calls in the middle of the night. So I don't espouse any of that. I think if you're going to do a rental, you're going to be a landlord, you let somebody else manage it. You hire a management company to do that, and you just factor that into your equation. If you can't afford to hire a property manager on a given deal, then you don't do that deal, and you just wait until you find a deal that's sweet. And that's one of the things in this list that didn't show up is so I'll just run through the list really quickly and read it to you. Now, I've got bifocals on, so I got to kind of look up here and lift my head, so I probably look a little funny here. But cash flow, tax benefits, the loan pay down. So as you're paying down a mortgage, you build equity because you're paying the loan down. So that becomes more and more valuable as you build up equity. You get appreciation, where stocks may go up, they may go down, but they're not necessarily tied to inflation. But cash certainly is not tied to inflation. Your cash is depreciating and getting worth less and less all the time. So real estate does keep up with cash flow. Hedge against inflation, that's something that kind of goes along with the appreciation. And then you have control. So if you buy 10 shares of Apple stock, there's nothing you can do to make that grow. Now, you can diversify, and that's how Wall Street says you should control your investing. But if you buy a piece of real estate, you can improve that real estate. You can improve it by decreasing, by doing maintenance on it to increase the rent, or to decrease the maintenance costs by fixing things. You can do a lot of things to increase the value, increase the rent, increase the cash flow, and increase the value that asset brings to you. So there's one thing on this list, and I don't know, have any of you Googled what I said is just the advantages of investing in real estate? And do you see the list there? And Is there anything that that list leaves off? And what I would say is the advantage can be described in one word: arbitrage. And arbitrage is basically taking advantage of the fact that there's inefficiencies in a marketplace. So in the stock market, you cannot get someone to sell you a stock for 50% of its face value. It just doesn't happen. They sell it for the value, whatever the market's bearing at that time. Whereas in real estate, you actually can buy a house for 50% of what it's worth. Doesn't happen very often, but you say, why would somebody sell their house for that cheap? Well, let's say somebody has a house and they don't owe anything on it. Let's say they bought it 20 years ago and now it's a problem to them. It's a problem because they want to move. Maybe it's vacant. They're paying taxes on it. It's not giving them any benefit. That house is now a liability. But to you, it could be an asset. So they may sell it to you at 50 cents on the dollar. I have a friend that just bought a house for $100 in Memphis. How did he do that? Well, he did that because he just gave the guy $100 because that's all the guy needed. It needed to be legal. The guy didn't want the house. He was ready to leave it. And so the guy took it subject to the loan. So he didn't have to pay off the loan. He gave the guy $100, took over the payments. Great strategy. And that was a guy named Spencer Shadrach out in Memphis. There's also, as I was looking at that list, there was something else that occurred to me, and darn it, I may not be able to remember it. But buying lower, you can buy real estate. Oh, I know what it is. It's not there. It is called leverage. So you can buy a hard asset like real estate, and you can leverage it. So for example, comparing it to Wall Street, let's say you wanted to buy 100 shares of Google. And then you went to the bank and you said, I want a loan. They said, great, we love to loan money. What do you want it for? Well, I want to buy Google stock, and I want you to loan me the money to do that. They'll say, okay, great, what's your collateral? Well, the collateral is Google stock. I'm buying the stock. It's an asset. I want to use that as my collateral. They'll laugh you out of the bank. Whereas if you're borrowing money to buy a house, you use that asset as collateral to finance a loan. So that is called leverage, and we'll talk tomorrow about exactly why leverage is so important. But to give you an idea, leverage cuts both ways. It's not great. A lot of people got into trouble, getting 100% loans, and back when all you had to do was fog a mirror to get a loan. So I'm not saying that leverage is without its downside, but when it's used properly, it is absolutely the best way to grow your wealth. And then if you're trying to build your portfolio right now, if you're trying to increase your profit on your investment, leverage is an essential way to do that. So those are the advantages. I'm going to read the 6 again off the list, and then I'm going to add my 2. So my 2 actually were you can use arbitrage. You can buy it for cheaper than the actual market value. You can get a bank loan or a private loan to leverage your investment to make it your money work even harder for you. You can also get cash flow very easily from a rental. And there are also other ways we'll talk about in future broadcasts about how you can get cash flow without ever even owning the property. And that's really, you can be the bank. So Aida, thank you for joining. Let me know how you're doing. It's been a long time since I've seen you, so welcome. So you can get cash flow without even owning the property. So you can own the property, have somebody else manage it, and so you don't have to be the landlord, or you can do something called mortgage notes, and where you're actually the bank, and you get cash flow just like a bank would. Very simple strategies, powerful strategies. You also have tax benefits. We haven't talked about that. But with the tax benefits that you have from owning real estate, you can actually make money every month and yet write it off because you get tax benefits because the government wants you to own real estate. They want you to rent real estate to people. They want you as an entrepreneur to provide housing for people who need a place to live. And everybody needs a place to live. So that's why real estate is such an awesome investment. The loan pay down we talked about, where you have to you get to increase your equity if you have an amortized loan that you've used to leverage the property. and you get appreciation. The property generally goes up. Real estate's been very reliable over the long haul in that it continues to go up. And it's more volatile in some places, like Los Angeles and New York. It tends to go up more and then it comes down more. And yet in places where it's more in the Midwest, you get much more gradual climb and less drops. And the hedge against inflation is kind of the same, in the same boat as appreciation, because as values go up, the property value goes up. And finally, you have control. So we'll talk more about these attributes in future broadcasts. But for right now, I want to thank all of you for watching, and please go ahead and give me your comments or hit the like button and tell me what you think. All right? Thank you very much for joining me, and I will see you soon. God bless. Bye-bye.